and this is our um, roundup of Therapy Animal Program volunteer news and updates. It's just an opportunity for me to check in with our prospective and current volunteers in a live format. I tend to give y'all some updates and reminders and fun news, and you can, of course, use the comments to interact with me, ask questions on any topic, whether or not it's something I cover or not. It's just an opportunity for us to connect on all of the fun and interesting things that are going on in the Therapy Animal Program at Pet Partners. Always helpful for me if I know people can hear me and I know a little bit about who's listening. So if you could type in your pet's name, what kind of pet you have, where you live, any sort of little introduction you're willing to do, I would so appreciate it. Okay, great. I see that we have Bree here, my colleague from Reno with her bunny Theo. I'm hoping some others are hopping in as I begin talking. Um, Again, I'm looking for folks to let me know where you live, what kind of animal you have. If you want to tell me pet, or excuse me, name or breed, I always love hearing that. Ooh, a Belgian Shepherd. Fun. We don't hear many of those. It sounds like maybe I was cut off a little bit at the beginning. So let me just introduce myself again while you all are introducing yourselves. I'm Jessie Haas. I'm the Senior National Director of Programs at Pet Partners. We do these Therapy Animal Program kind of roundup of news and events and updates about once a quarter. So that's what I'm here doing. It's just a time to connect with you all, um, share fun updates from the program, and also just be available to answer any questions you all have on any topic. So that's what we're covering in the next 15 or 20 minutes at most. Um, keep those introductions coming in. I see Jan's here, Sarah, um, with a dog named Pixel. Hey, that's the name of my phone. What a cute name. Um, we got Ashley, Donna, a Catahoula mix from Joplin, Missouri. I think that's a pretty common breed in that area. No, my dog's a Catahoula mix and she's from Missouri. So, hi, Karen from Indiana, Mary from Oregon, Weimaraner mix. Ooh, a puppy. So you're just getting yourself started with your dog. That's great. I see that you say she's coming up on her first birthday, which is obviously good to know. You can't register until she's the year, but you can do lots of your requirements and required training and all of that before the animal is a year. So really smart, forward, proactive thinking there. Hi, Stephanie, Claudia. Um, Wonderful. So thank you all for being here. I'll get started. Today is May 1st, which means that yesterday, April 30th, was National Therapy Animal Day. And that is an opportunity for all of us to recognize and be recognized for our therapy animal volunteerism and just to raise general awareness of what a therapy animal is, the fact that they live in so many communities, the fact that they serve so many communities, along with all of you, our handlers. Um, so it's a celebration, but it's also just raising awareness as well. And I wanted to report that we had this year 87 total proclamations of National Therapy Animal Day. And what I mean by that is that local municipalities, counties, city councils, it obviously depends on how each place is structured in a governmental way, which issued this, but 87 different entities proclaimed that day as National Therapy Animal Day, which is really awesome to hear. 12 of those proclamations were statewide. So, for example, where I live in the state of Minnesota, the entire state proclaimed the day as National Therapy Animal Day. So, I wanted to report out on all of that movement and those results. I expect that a few more will come in as well in the coming few days as people are able to report to us that it's been proclaimed as National Therapy Animal Day, April 30th, in their communities. National Therapy Animal Day, April 30th, is also a time where we participate in a fundraiser, Pet Partners fundraiser called Treats and Sweets Day. I know that there were a lot of folks who were celebrating National Therapy Animal Day yesterday or over the weekend who also did a Treats and Sweets event, which is where handlers and supporters and the general public can whip up sweet treats that help us celebrate the human-animal bonds. We kind of do them in conjunction with one another, but Treats and Sweets actually runs in May as well. It is not over. It's just that it was a nice, fun time for folks to have a nice treat. Well, we also celebrated National Therapy Animal Day. So we'll throw up a link, looks like it already has happened, about Treats and Sweets Day, how we've been doing so far, and what you can continue to do in May. So thank you to everybody, those of you who are on here, and a few of you are current handlers. If you participated in getting us a proclamation or participated in Treats and Sweets Day, we really very much appreciate you. Just a couple other things I wanted to give some updates on. We have a manager of AACR here, Animal Assisted Crisis Response. Her name is Lisa Heald. And Lisa just gave me a report last week and reminded me today of all of the different AACR, Animal Assisted Crisis Response deployments we've done this year. Just real briefly before I get into that, Animal Assisted Crisis Response is a special credential. So you can become a team with Pet Partners, a regular team, a standard registration, things like that. But after 6 months, you are eligible to take some additional training so that you can be credentialed as a team who is able to deploy into situations of crisis or emergency situations. We've had already 20 AACR deployments this year. Just a couple of examples very broadly. These aren't often things we can give a lot of detail on because they are sensitive, but I can say broadly, we had a number of teams deploy with some of the flooding issues that have been present in California. We've also had teams deploy in Arkansas this late winter, early spring with a devastating tornado that went through that area, including Little Rock. And in AACR deployments, our teams are not search and rescue. They are not trained for that kind of thing, but they are there to provide support emotionally and otherwise to people who have experienced this crisis and disaster and are kind of navigating the aftermath. So for those of you who are prospective teams, if AACR sounds interesting to you, it is something you'd be eligible to participate in after 6 months of handling. If you are a current handler, we are always looking for more AACR teams because sometimes we'll get deployment requests in areas where we have teams, but they aren't AACR credentialed. And unfortunately, we do have to turn those down in some cases. So just wanted to give a highlight to all that's been going on with AACR lately. Again, it's not something we can talk about publicly, maybe to the extent we can some of our other visits, but nonetheless still deserves a mention here. Those of you who are prospective handlers or you've very, very recently become a handler, something to keep in mind is late last year, we began offering a monthly new handler orientation that's run by one of our staff here. It's virtual, it's about an hour long, so it's nothing intensive. Once you complete your registration for the 2 months after that, you will get invitations to the orientation. So if you can't make one and you can make the other, great. You can also watch a recording if you want, but I do think attending them live is really beneficial. It gives you the opportunity to ask your questions. We do try to keep the groups relatively small so we can converse with one another. And it's a time where we go through, okay, you've got your registration letter. Now what? How do you find a place to visit? What are some questions a facility might ask you? What are some best practices for your first couple visits? Because how you visit time 1 and time 2 might be very different than how you're visiting 6 months later. Basically, we encourage you to take kind of a slow on-ramp to your visiting while you figure out what works best for you and your pet. So again, if you're a prospective handler or a new handler, be sure to watch out for invites to those. They've been incredibly well received. I know a lot of you all might be connected with Pet Partners via a local group of Pet Partners handlers, a community partner, or otherwise. In many of those cases, you are receiving support locally as you get oriented, but not everybody has that opportunity. So we wanted to make sure that we had that available to any new handler. And even if you do have local support, I do think there are some things that our national office or headquarters are able to deliver and remind you of as you're getting started. So we are proud to announce that new offering. They're not new, but I'm not sure I've mentioned them here before. I'm just going to stop real quick. I see a bunch of comments coming in, so I just want to make sure I'm not missing any questions. See, we had some people join as well. Hi, Juanita from Charlotte and Denise from Oregon. Jenny and Bill from Liberty. Okay, here's a question from Donna. I just finished my AACR course and pass. I did notice that the link for FEMA training is different in the course than the link in the manual. Which one should I do? That's a good question. I was not aware that they might be different, Donna, so I can't answer that on the fly. But I'm going to jot down your name here. And I will have my colleague Lisa follow up with you, no problem. But also this is really good for us to know, because if they are different, we'll make sure that we get that fixed. So thank you for bringing that to my attention. Somebody noticed my bunny shirt. It's true. I mean, I'm a dog owner, but I have the pleasure here in the Twin Cities area. We have, I believe, the largest number of pet partners registered rabbits in our area. So I have been able to see a lot of rabbits in action on visits. And it's just really great and has totally opened my eyes even further to how special our non-canine species are, that they really fit a unique niche that people are so lucky to have and they can benefit from. So this year when I ordered my shirt, I thought, I'm not getting a dog this time. I'm going to support the rabbits. So thank you so much for noticing, Bree. Seeing more comments in here from Donna. Okay, thanks, Donna. I'm making a note of all this with the FEMA link. And hi, Pat from North Texas. Welcome, welcome. I just have a couple of other things. National Therapy Animal Day and AACR were kind of the big fun announcements I wanted to share with y'all, but I've got a couple of small things. So we did recently increase the course fee for the new handler training. It is never fun to increase fees for our volunteers. It's something we take very seriously. We understand that it is difficult to pay to volunteer. And a reminder as ever that our registration fees and our course fees don't actually cover what it costs to support and ensure and train our teams. So we always look for grants and funding and sponsors to help us cover the difference. Nonetheless, it doesn't mean we can avoid raising fees altogether. And the last time we raised the course fee was nearly 10 years ago. Obviously, we've all seen prices increase in various areas of our life, and we fought it as long as we could. But I did just want to note there has been an increase in course fees. We always like to be transparent. I know some people here are prospective handlers who may or may not have taken the course yet. If you were in our system, you know, we tried to let you know, hey, this is the date the course is changing. But it's a reality. And again, just wanted to be transparent for folks that if you see that fee jump, that is something that happened, and it was taken very seriously and considered, and is a necessary step. Also for folks, so those of you who have been around a while, you might know that on the bottom of every single web page we have on our site, there's a contact us button. That's how we ask people to reach out to us if they have questions. If you're new, I'm telling you now, we love that contact us feature. We have so many messages coming in each day. It's not just from people who are current teams or just from people who have already started a registration. We are fielding questions from all sorts of people at all different phases of their journey. When you submit a contact us question, it goes into a queue for us, and we can separate it by staff member in terms of who's the one to best answer this, and it keeps things in order that they came in. So thank you to those of you who already use that feature. And just a reminder, if you use it, it comes in such a way that it's an email. So you don't also have to email us. They're all the same system and they work together. Sometimes we find that when we get duplicate questions, it actually slows us down a little bit in terms of sorting, you know, the hundreds of contact us or emails that come through every day. We do try to get back to people within 3 business days. I know that in today's world, that feels like a really long time to wait to get a response, especially as we're like so used to text messaging or so used to doing things online ourselves, self-service. But it is just the nature of wanting to be sure that we spend appropriate time with every person who asks a question. So use Contact Us. We'll get to you as fast as we can. We try for a 3-day response time whenever possible. And then last thing, this is a good reminder for new handlers that when you complete your registration, you get a acceptance letter or a registration letter. It can be called one of those two things. And that means, hey, you're all set to go. You're authorized to visit. Your insurance coverage is in full effect. And then about 6 to 8 weeks later, your badge arrives, your Pet Partners branded badge. So a couple of reminders on this. Some people think they have to wait until their badge arrives before they can visit. You do not. The letter authorizes you to visit. The badges can just be a sometimes convenient external show of your affiliation with Pet Partners. In fact, we always recommend wear your badge, bring your letter, both and, because some facilities care more about the badge, but most care more about that letter if they are going to check for any sort of identification. But the other thing we've seen happen is that some people are beginning to visit before they get their acceptance letter. So they've submitted all of their materials online, their evaluation results. They've taken the course online, so that's checked off. They maybe have done their background check. They see that's checked off, and they think I'm set to visit. But I just want to be really, really clear. Until you have that acceptance letter in hand, which comes via email, you are not authorized to visit. Our staff needs some time. We're pretty quick at this if everything is submitted properly, but we need some time to check and make sure all of the, I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. Then we issue the letter, then you're able to visit. So just make sure you're waiting for that material. If you don't receive it within, about 7 days, you are welcome to Contact Us and just make sure nothing's going on. Check your spam. Sometimes it can go there. Don't visit without it. Once you got it, it authorizes you to visit. You don't need to wait for your badge. And then once you get your badge, I still recommend keeping that letter on hand with you. So we've had that come up a few times lately. So I just wanted to be ultra clear about the importance of that letter. That's everything I have, but I will still hang around for a few minutes and see what's coming in. So Jenny, I see that you also want a FEMA response for the AACR course. I am happy to get both you all more information on that. Just jotting down your name. Okay. So the next question is, does Pet Partners have an app for handlers or for AACR deployments, or will there be one launching in the future? We do not have an app at this time. It has been something that's come up before. We have talked about it as a staff. We know that that would be helpful for some handlers. Other handlers may not use it. That's okay. It's obviously a huge investment to develop an app that actually works properly. I'm sure you all know there's so many apps out there that you download them thinking they're going to be great and they aren't great. They don't work super well. So it's on, I would say, our general radars, but there are no immediate plans to develop an app. If we ever were, I think it would be used for things like deployments. We also do what's called sponsored visits. These are situations where an entity might actually be financially supporting Pet Partners, and they would like teams in return. So there might be a large corporation that wants to fund us, and yay, we love that as a nonprofit, but they also want a chance to meet our teams, which is totally understandable when they're investing in us. So we would send teams out on a sponsored visit. In a way, they're also a deployment. So it'd be great for those things. It also would be great for logging your hours visited. Obviously, you can do that on the website, but I know for a lot of people, being able to do it right on your phone after a visit would be helpful. So we're aware of all the ways it could be great, but no immediate plans to develop one. I see Ashley's question here, a prospective handler a monthly orientation offered for new handlers. Do you know when the next one is? So they've typically been on the first Tuesday of the month, but Ashley, I'm going to jot your name down as well. And we'll just see if the invite went out to you. It's possible, like if you became registered 3 months ago, the ones that you would have been invited to are already over because we just didn't want to keep hitting people with the email forever. We all get so many emails. We know Pet Partners already sends out so many emails. But if you didn't get a chance to attend and you want, we'll just get you the link for the next one. So they're held monthly, and I'll send it out to you. No problem. Danielle asked, I volunteer with an AKC recognized therapy animal program. Do I have to go through the evaluation again? Yes, you do. Have to go through our evaluation. It can be very helpful to have gone through the AKC. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Wait, back up, Danielle. I misread your question. When I saw AKC, my head went right to the CGC or the Canine Good Citizen Test. You're actually asking a different question. So this is a good one. If you are somebody who has been affiliated recently with another therapy animal organization, we do have an easier pathway for you to start, where if you have those evaluation results, you can submit those to us and you can get registered quicker. But we typically make the registration just 1 year rather than our typical 2 years. Now, the reason for that is we want to make sure that we're getting you pet partners evaluated sooner rather than later, but we also want to recognize that you've already been through this process, and get you started if you're looking to transition. So I would recommend that you hit that contact us button that I was talking about earlier. Let us know. I have been with a different registry. I'm looking to transition to Pet Partners. I know there's an alternative pathway. We do this, I wouldn't say super frequently, but we do it enough that my colleagues will be able to help you through what that looks like. No problem. Bree's my colleague in the background. I'm wondering if you can put up the link for fees, because people have been asking about fees in here, and it might just be easier to drop the link, but let me see if I can find it. It's opening for me now, and then I'll put it in there for you. I'm not finding it quick enough, but our fees are online, because I want people to see the entire fee structure for a new team versus a renewing team, because it isn't just the course fee. I found it here. Let me drop it in for you. Oh, I'm not able to drop a comment. I'm sorry. We're using a new system here, and I thought I'd be able to drop a comment, but I can't. But if you search Pet Partners fees, or if you go to our website, at the top is a search bar. You put in fees, you'll see the fees for the course, and you'll see all of the other associated fees, especially when you're getting going and as you're trying to determine what your overall costs are as a new team. And then, of course, for renewing teams, those costs go down quite a bit, because there is no need to retake the course when you renew every 2 years. Thank you. Bree got the fee breakdown in there. Appreciate it. I am going to wait and see if anything else is coming online here for questions, but I think they've slowed down. I've noted the FEMA questions, and people, Ashley, I've noted from you that you want to potentially attend a new handler orientation. We'll get the link and invite out to you so you can check and see if it works with your schedule. Other than that, I'll let you all go. Thank you for your time and for being with me today, asking questions and listening to all the things I'm feeling excited about, and hope you're feeling excited about too. Have a lovely day.